You know what I have to say? Classic rock is the best rock, and I'm sure that a lot of people would agree with me. Music from the late 60s, right through the 70s, even into the 80s. The sad thing about it is that a lot of classic rock artists aren't with us anymore. They're aging, you know, sometimes it gets a little bit tough as you get older to play those songs. The good thing is we've got cover bands out there, tribute bands that are doing their music. And so if your band isn't around anymore, or if maybe they are, but you just don't get a chance to see them, you get a chance to check out a cover band. I'll tell you, the best one is Tres Hombres. They cover ZZ Top music, and I'm here with Jonnie Walker. He's the lead singer for the band. They've been around a long time. And Jonnie, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
I will ask you a question now. You probably have been doing this over 30 years. I know that for sure. And when you started doing ZZ Top music, was it because of the love of the music, the love of your beard, combination? What?
No, back then I didn't have a beard. I kind of recontacted with my best friend from high school, who I used to play in a band with. And we both had kind of separately gotten into the ZZ Top Deguelo album. This was in, I guess, 83 or so. So we recontacted and we're chatting, and we thought, hey, let's put another band together and let's do a few ZZ Top songs, because we were both really into that Deguelo album. And so that's kind of how it started. And then a friend of ours suggested, why don't you do a clone band? And because that's what they called tribute bands in those days, and there weren't really any around, except there was a Beatles tribute and a Stones tribute. Other than that, the tribute thing hadn't really taken off yet. So we got some costumes, and back then you had the big lighting show and everything. And just as we were about to play our first gig, ZZ Top came out with the Eliminator album, which really put them on the map. Mm-hmm. And that was a big help to put us on the map. And actually, a funny story, our first gig, it was a showcase at the Gasworks. Remember the Gasworks on Yonge Street? And at the time, we didn't have a drummer. It was just my friend Lonnie and I, because at the time there wasn't really a lot of good drummers around. So we decided we're going to record some drums, and we'll play to the recording of the drums. The band that was playing there had a huge drum kit, so you couldn't see the drummer. Mm-hmm. So we stuffed some clothes and put like a dummy on the drum kit, and nobody knew. Nobody knew. So anyway, we had a good showcase, and then that's how we hooked up with our manager, Dave Kirby, who was with the agency, and also Gary McCracken was in the audience that night from Max Webster, and we invited him to come and sit in with us anytime he wanted, and he ended up joining the band.
Cool.
And so it was kind of the stars came together for us with Gary joining the band, with the Eliminator album coming out at that time, and the rest was history.
Yeah, that Eliminator album did put ZZ Top back on the map again for sure. I want to ask you something. Since you've been doing it so long, and what keeps you motivated after all these years?
Well, the love of music in general, and I'm surprised myself to say this, but after playing ZZ Top songs for so long, I'm not the least bit sick of any one of them.
That's great to hear.
Maybe because I just haven't got it right yet, I keep working on it.
Right on. Question for you. Have you ever met anybody from ZZ Top?
No, I haven't, but I've been trying to get a message to Billy Gibbons.
Right.
Through various channels. Mike McKenna from McKenna Mendelsohn Mainline, apparently he befriended Billy Gibbons online because Billy was a fan of Mainline.
Right.
And I know Mike McKenna because he gave me a couple of guitar lessons way back in the 60s. And so I tried to get a hold of him to ask him to just tell Billy that, hey, thank you for giving me a career for 30 years.
All right, Jonnie, so can you tell me a little bit about what your plans are for the future? And I have a question for you. What advice would you give to new bands that are starting out today?
That's a good question. The music business on our level and on the highest levels, it's totally different now from the way it was, say, 20 years ago. And So I don't even know what kind of advice to give to somebody career-wise. The best advice I could give is kind of the timeless advice of, don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to copy somebody. Be yourself. Follow your heart. Trust your gut instincts.
That's some good advice right there.
That's pretty good advice for anybody, I think, even if you're not a musician.
That's true. Jonnie, thank you so much for spending the time with us here today.
Thank you, Brenda. It was my pleasure.
And you're going to be performing at Cookstown Pub February the 2nd, Groundhog Day.
Looking forward to it.
Get your tickets. They're $16. It's going to be a great night of Tres Hombres and ZZ Top music.
Thank you, Brenda. Come on down.